Welcome to the official 901FC Coaches Show with your host, Pete Pranica. Join Pete as he interviews your 901FC coaches and favorite players and gives you the most in-depth look at the 901FC. Now, let's get to the show.
Hello and welcome to the Memphis 901FC podcast. I'm Pete Pranica, one of the voices of the team on WMC 5.2 Bounce and ESPN+. Since our last visit, Memphis 901FC saw their club record 12-match unbeaten streak get shattered with back-to-back shutout losses. Now, thankfully for the boys in blue, they managed draws in both fixtures in their recent Western Conference swing. Memphis currently sits fourth place in the Eastern Conference, 30 points. They're just 4 points out of second with a game in hand compared to Tampa Bay, the club that is currently in second. Tampa Bay came away empty in terms of points. Birmingham Legion got them 1-0 this weekend. On today's show, we'll visit with Rodrigo da Costa. He's one of the most dynamic midfielders in the championship because he can create chances for others, and he's also excellent at finishing on his own. And as Memphis supporters know, he was transferred to Memphis from FC Tulsa in exchange for Philip Goodrum earlier this season. It was a great conversation. Definitely looking forward to that. Now, before we get to that conversation, let's get you caught up on the club, what's going on right now. First of all, we're just going to dismiss the 6-0 nationally televised drubbing in Phoenix and the 4-0 loss to defending champion San Antonio. Not much to discuss there other than the fact that for whatever reason, Memphis could not get to play with the pace that they want to, could not get to the transition opportunities that they favor. That the long unbeaten streak would come to an end, well, that's a given, but it was shocking just how far sideways those results went. And I don't know that anybody on the team would admit this, and I know Rodrigo da Costa says there's no excuses for 10-0 aggregate going the wrong way, but I just think that the consecutive matches against FC Tulsa with Philip Goodrum in opposing colors, and then facing Charleston with Ben Pierman in the other dugout on short rest, it should be pointed out, might have drained the batteries beyond what anybody anticipated. Look, it's a long season. Everybody goes through droughts. And if you look at the schedules of the different teams in the championship, you will see some results that'll make you scratch your head periodically. Regardless, Memphis was then faced with a very daunting trip west. Now, as you might remember, Memphis was set to face Oakland Roots earlier in the season. They flew all the way out to the West Coast only to find that the artificial turf that had been laid down only days before, well, it was not level. In fact, you could say there were waves in the turf, and it was clearly unfit for play. Well, with 901FC having a match at Sacramento fixed for Saturday, July 15th, the decision was made to have that makeup match in Oakland Roots the preceding Wednesday. In that match, again, Memphis found their offensive touch lacking in the first 45, found themselves down a goal in the 33rd minute after a strike by the Roots. Now, in the second half, though, 901 started to get into an offensive rhythm. They finally got their breakthrough with Laurent Tissiedu just past the hour mark. Now, the visitors probably deserve better than a 1-1 draw, given the opportunities that they created for themselves late in the match, especially when the Roots went down a man in stoppage time, Neville Hacksaw going down with about 3 minutes left in stoppage time. So 1-1, still a point is a point. Memphis was going to take that lightly. But now they were poised to take on the Western Conference leading Sacramento Republic, themselves just one win in their prior 6 matches, although that win was a big one, 3-1 over San Antonio. Republic came in with a league-leading plus 19 goal differential. They had conceded just 12 goals on the season. They were coming off a scoreless road draw at Pittsburgh, but they would be missing Jack Gurr, their best chance creator. But still, Republic has Russell Cicerone. For years, he had been Pittsburgh's leading goal producer, and he entered the Memphis match with 9 in his account this year. Now, at the same time, Memphis would be without Carson Stieg on the back line. And now, Jelani Peters, he has shown well when he has been given the opportunity due to Von Stieg's absence. But still, the fact that Carson Vom Stieg was not available, it's no small matter for Memphis because Vom Stieg has been excellent this year. The goal against Republic was to play at pace, to force Republic to chase and to have to deal with balls into the box on a regular basis. In the first half, Memphis was solidly on the front foot with numerous chances. Rodrigo da Costa missed wide from close quarters. Laurent Tissiedu had a ball at his feet just outside the 6-yard box, but just could not get his feet right to put much on his shot. And then Aaron Malloy had a direct free kick that clanged off the woodwork. On the surface, 0-0 scoreline at halftime against the top team in the West. Not a bad outcome, but given the wealth of possession and opportunities for 901 FC, it seemed like a little bit of a letdown. The breakthrough would come through early in the second half when Da Costa found Emerson Heineman on a run, and his ground-hugging strike got by Danny Vitiello and rolled into the net, that coming in the 49th minute, and Memphis had the 1-0 advantage. Now, from that point on, however, Republic dominated possession. In fact, in the first 15 minutes of the second half, Republic had 67% of the possession. And when Memphis got opportunities, again, couldn't finish. The relentless pressure from Republic finally broke through in the 87th minute. Yeah, it's that guy, Russell Cicerone, got his 10th goal of the season to tie for league leadership. And that's how it ended, a 1-1 draw. It was a very spirited match, high quality football. Now, again, on paper, a 1-1 draw against Sacramento Republic, that's okay, right? But again, 901 took it as a loss in some senses because the quality they had shown, the chances they had created, you could make the argument they deserved better than a 1-1 draw. Well, Memphis, it's a road-heavy part of the schedule. They get one home match before traveling for 4 straight. They'll be home Saturday night against Orange County SC, a team in fine form. They have won 4 wins in their last 5 fixtures. I've got a little bit of a scouting report on Orange County SC in a moment, but first, let's chat with Rodrigo da Costa. Rod, one of the foundational pieces of FC Tulsa. You still hold most of the meaningful records there with that club. Did you ever think that you might be playing football somewhere other than Tulsa?
I mean, it is hard to think, but I always wanted to also to explore different places and different cities and, like different teams. And of course, over there was really good for me. Like I had like already made like a good name, if you can say like that. And like everybody trusts me. I trust the club, but at the same time it was like a good start, a new start, like a good refresh. The new beginnings are always exciting and like brings you a new motivation. Like, so it was not easy on the beginning, but it was definitely worth.
What was that transition like to find out that you've been transferred and you have other people that are depending on you? So personally and professionally, you have to make this move. What was that like going through that situation?
I mean, professionally, it was excited because we had already before Memphis last year, in the middle of the season, they talked with my agent, they tried to get me trade, and then but didn't work out. And then in the end of the year, they all also spoke with my agent about like a possibility to come to Memphis and stuff. But I had already contract with Tulsa until the November 2023, so it was not a possibility. And like when this opportunity came, like was like professionally, it was really I was really excited, but like on the family side is like in the personal life it's really hard, like you have, like you said, you have like my family around me that like is not easy, like a transition like to a new place, like no friends and no family. So it's always hard like going to a new stay, a new like, that you don't know nobody, and like you don't know if your family is gonna be all right. You don't have like, apartment, you don't have time to look for nothing. So that part was definitely the hardest part, but like I believe was we did have the club also helped me a lot, and was we did the best, and like now we are 100% settling, like we know our spots already, like the family already knows good restaurants and like places to go. And so when we go out in our way trips, my wife knows like she has already friends and like things to do. So that makes our life easier, like inside the field. We only focus on the game.
Well, that's one of the things at 901 FC they've really tried to do is make sure that they take care of the players, whether it's housing or just getting acclimated to the city. Now, I wasn't aware that Memphis was interested in you before the transfer was actually made. So you've had some interaction with the club playing against them. when you were playing against 901 FC, what was your impression of Memphis?
I knew some of the guys, most of the Brazilians. I knew all of them. We always talk. You guys last year had Flavio as like the fitness coach, and this year he was FC Tulsa, so he always spoke with me about like the whole team over here. All of the guys are really nice. He always spoke about like how they had a really good group as a family. Everybody was friend and like so. He when the transfer happened, he was the first one that I called, and I asked him like, Flavio, what should I do? What should I go? And so no, Rodrigo, like they don't worry, they're gonna take care of you. They are good people, you know, like so was that also made easier, but I knew the guys, like most of the guys I knew playing so many times against them. You rival inside the field, but like outside the field is everybody friends, everybody wants the best for each other, you know, like we are professionals inside the field, but outside we're still professional and we I had like friendship with a lot of the guys, you know, so that also made easier my transition, like knowing some of the guys, they already help me. Not I was not even here, they already helping me with the things, you know. So that also makes really easy for you to transition, makes everything, you know, to get to know everybody, it's much easier.
Well, Rodrigo, on a personal and professional level, we're thrilled to have you in Memphis. Now, tell us a little bit more about your soccer journey. You were born in Rio de Janeiro, and then you come to the United States, and you're playing soccer in Florida. I think the Florida Soccer Soldiers was one of the clubs that you were a part of. Tell us a little bit about growing up in Rio and then coming to the United States to play soccer.
So was growing up in Rio was amazing. And like most of the time in the streets, you know, like playing soccer on the streets back at the time was still safe, you know, like if you can say like that, to stay in the streets until late, and we play all the time after school. So most of my growing up was futsal. I play from like 5 to 12 years old, only futsal. So futsal, for those that are not related, is like 5v5, but in a court, you know. So it's like really small space, like works a lot of your technique, a lot of like quick thinking, and like good decisions. So I definitely like love futsal. I want to stay longer, but in Brazil at this age, 12, 13, they start to make the transition for you to go to the grass, to the 11v11. So I went to Botafogo Academy. That's like one of like the four big clubs in Rio de Janeiro. I did like most of my academy over there. When I was about 15, something on my family's, my and my family happened with us that was like a personal matter that took me away from soccer. I my dad passed away, and like he was a professional soccer player back in the days. My grandfather was a soccer player back in the day, so they are the ones that like always taking me to practice and like taking me to the games the weekends. And when I lost him, like I was devastated and I didn't want to play anymore. So from 15 to 20, I was just playing pickup games, just having fun, but not really like a club or anything, you know, like just Sunday leagues and like, you know. And I start college. I did 1 year college in Brazil. So that's when I met my agent now, Amari. He was the one that saw me. He had a agents that used to help kids to come to college. So he was like, Rodrigo, like, even though I didn't know any English, I didn't know like, you know, how to do the documents, anything. And he was like, hey, Rodrigo, don't worry, I'm gonna help you with everything. I just like, you really have like a good technique. You're like, I see you playing like, you know, like in good colleges in the US. And at the beginning I was like not, I didn't know how to take it, but like my mom was like 100% like supporting me. My family was 100 supporting me, like because it's a hard decision, you know, like to leave your family behind and like just go like to this. The dream of playing soccer was never die inside you, but like at the same time you don't want to get your hopes so high that like, and you don't make it, and you know, it's always hard mentally. So I was like, I didn't know if I really want to take the opportunity, but my mom definitely was the one, like, she wants me to have a good experience. She knew how important it was gonna be for me, even though that was the first thing that she said, like, Rodrigo, like, if nothing happens and at least you get a degree. I was like, I had a full scholarship, and like, you come back home, like, you're gonna have a degree, you're gonna have amazing experience, you're gonna know different languages, English, Spanish, you're gonna learn different things, and you go back and you see what happened, and I came into the US with no hope being professional. I was just like, I came for the experience, and in the end, like 2019, I had opportunity to go play pro. So that was like a dream come true.
Well, mother knows best, and so your
Oh
mother was
yeah.
very wise. Not only a great experience, but it has turned out very well for you professionally. So now you joined the team in the middle of the 12-match unbeaten streak, and then you have the two real bad losses. What was going well during that unbeaten streak that maybe you got lost against San Antonio and Phoenix?
Whatever I say you can take as an excuse, like, and that is no excuse. It's just like, sometimes the thing is gonna, like, you're gonna be doing really good, and sometimes you're gonna have bumps in the road, like, and it is normal soccer. Even in the best teams you see that happen, and it's gonna happen over here, it just as we take. That's what's gonna define us for the rest of the season. Like, and I like, we had two strong games away, two really hard games there, like, and that was two really good ties. Like, one of the games we winning 1-0 most of the game, controlling the game. Like, so I'm sure, like, we definitely play different, but it's this we play the same game. And one game we lost just 6-0, and the other one we are beating the first place of the other side of the league. So we play the same game. Like, I think that's a good point that the coach always make. Like, we need to make, like, we have like a way of play, a style, and we need to stick to the style. But sometimes we need to grind. Like, we need to everybody needs to play harder and, like, win our battles, and that's gonna bring us back to the victories.
Tell us a little bit more that match against Sacramento Republic on the front foot through the first 50 minutes or so, and then Emerson Hyman gets the goal, and you're just a few minutes away from wrapping up all 3 points. As you look back at that game against Sacramento Republic, what's your evaluation of how well the club played?
I'm really proud of the guys. Like, it was not easy, being away like that many days, and we went straight from Oakland to Sacramento, like, being away, and was like, the heat is different, and like, the weather was completely different from Memphis. So I'm really proud of the guys. Like, was Sacramento and Oakland, was our Oakland especially was hard because of the turf. Is a different game. So, and Sacramento was like a good, really good environment, a lot of fans. So it was like really hard to make that push, and everybody did really good, like, and we, I think we had a really good chance, and we controlled most of the game. Of course, they had the chances too. We also had more chances, but now we need to learn from this experience and try to take a good lesson and not let happen for the future. We still have time to learn these things, but in the future that is not going to be possible. So it's good that we learn now, so we don't make these same mistakes in the future.
Rodrigo, last thing for you. Is it sometimes easier for the club to be on the road where it's just you're there together with your soccer brothers and you're not at home and worried about some of the other stuff? Is it easier sometimes to play on the road just being kind of insulated as you were for those two games in Oakland and in Sacramento?
Depends of the point of view, and I'm sure depends of the player. I don't mind, but I'm sure if you have, like, if you're passing through something here at home, if you have kids, if like, sometimes it's better for you to come home and then go away again. Like, you have a little bit more time with your family, and, like, depends with what you're dealing at home. Like, for me, I don't mind. Like, I also feel like, for me, for me especially is really good because I just got here, so it's good for me to bond with the guys, learn more about the background and from where they came from and how is the family and all of these things that like you doesn't sound like, oh, doesn't make a difference in the field. Yes, make a big difference in the field. Like when you have a good relationship outside the field, like you're gonna definitely run an extra mile for your teammate. So it's for me it's really good, but like I'm sure for other players maybe it can be like a little bit hard because you're away from family, away from kids. Like it's never easy. So, but for me especially, it was really nice, and the weather there was perfect. So we had a good time.
I said that was the last question. I lied. I'm going to ask you one more. Both you and Aaron are so good at You and Aaron are both so good at creating chances. What is it about your quality, your talent that makes you so dangerous as guys who can create chances, not only for yourself but for others?
Yeah, I believe like Aaron, we have like different styles. I believe like Aaron is more like playing from deep down, and he's so good finding these spaces, like these passes that like a really tight places, really like the window looks close, and like he's able to force the ball, and like when you look like you're alone, like he makes look so easy. And I think my style is like more a little bit closer to the goal, and like playing a little like in tight spaces, being able to play first touches and like things like that. Like, but both are able to like break the lines, like we say in soccer, like being able to not breaking the line with dribbling, but like with passing and moving. So I believe like if we're able to combine, the things can only improve for us.
Rodrigo, thank you so much for the time. It's been a most enjoyable visit. Good luck against Orange County on Saturday night.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
As I said, Memphis is home to Orange County Soccer Club this Saturday night, 7:30 kickoff at AutoZone Park. Right now, Orange County is below the playoff line in the West. They are 7-9-4 on the season, but they have gone 4-1 in their last 5 matches with a 2-0 defeat at Rio Grande Valley, the only blemish in that stretch. Orange County is fresh off a 3-1 road thumping of Loudoun United. Milan Iloski scored from the spot, his team-high 8th goal of the season in that victory. Iloski has taken more shots than any other player in the championship, and he has created more chances than any other player on Orange County. So safe to say he is going to be the focus of a Memphis defense that has conceded just 2 goals in the last 2 matches. Could be chippy. Orange County has seen more yellow cards this season than every other team not named Hartford Athletic. And while Memphis and Orange County square off, keep an eye on the out-of-town scoreboard. Louisville City will be hosting Birmingham Legion, and Charleston Battery will be hosting Pittsburgh at Patriots Point. Definite possibility of some shakeup in the table when all is said and done Saturday night. Memphis gets 3 points. Well, they're right back in the mix at the top of the table. Hope that you can get down to AutoZone Park Saturday night, but if you can't, Tim Van Horn and Enda Crayon will have the call on ESPN Plus and WMC 5.2 Bounce. That's a wrap for this edition of the Memphis 901 FC podcast. Our thanks to Rodrigo da Costa for joining me, and our thanks, as always, for listening. So long, everybody. We'll see you on the pitch.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the 901 FC Coaches Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of all things Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next time.